All right, everybody, welcome to the Experimental Aircraft channel, kind of a pre-Oshkosh interview this week. And we're talking with Mark from Sonex, a brand new owner of Sonex, by the way. And I just want to ask him where they're going to be at on the field and if there's any forums going on, and talk about the 1 week wonder they're doing. So Mark, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Good to have you here. Good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back.
So we'll start off, like, where are you going to be on the field? Typical location, and kind of like in reference to the tower that everybody always talks about.
Yeah, we'll be in the same places we have the last several years since they reorganized the home build exhibit area. So we'll be in home builds, booth 602 and 603, which is right near the home builders headquarters building on the flight line.
Awesome. Okay, and then the 1 week wonder, is that going to be right next to it or further down, or where's that going to be at?
That's going to be on Show Center on Celebration Way. So
okay.
Down right inside the main admission gate as you walk towards 1836 and the big what we used to call the West Ramp. I don't know what sponsor has their name on it these days, but where you see all the big military heavy iron.
Okay, awesome. All right, and then starting off the booth for a second, what are you going to have on display in the actual Sonex booth this year?
Yes, so we will have the usual suspects in terms of our YXB. We'll have also probably our Tri-Gear Sonex B prototype over there, our 1X, the Subsonics, JSX2, the single seat Subsonics. And we're working really hard to get the 2-seat jet looking like an airplane so people can see, feel, touch it, sit in it at the show.
Nice. So you might actually have a true airframe ready to go to be able to sit in it, or at least walk around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, our factory is right here. So we'll have factory tours every day other than Monday, where we'll be doing 1 week wonder opening ceremonies and that kind of stuff. And people can come see all kinds of other stuff, including customer quick build kits being put together here at the factory. And there's actually a sign up on our website if people want to sign up in advance for the factory tours. There's a form they can fill in, or they can sign up at the booth, and we'll even give you a ride from the booth to our factory for the tours if you don't have your own transportation available.
Awesome. Okay, let's switch over and talk to the event. Talk about the event, the big event, and the 1 week wonder. You guys are partnering with EAA, I assume, to get this done. What is that gonna look like? How's it gonna start off and progress through the week? Now, this is gonna be a 1 week to taxi as compared to a 1 week to flight, correct?
Yeah, and that's what EAA has done in the previous 2 years. I mean, the goal is to taxi by the end of the day on Sunday, have its airworthiness certificate on Sunday, and then typically take a day or two to not be rushed and have spectators watching, go through the plane really thoroughly, and fly it the following week.
Awesome. Okay. And so on Monday, which is pretty much is opening day for the show anyway, you're also going to begin this big challenge, correct? And
yeah, so opening ceremonies are right promptly at 8 a.m. With Jack Pelton kicking things off, and our entire staff will be there. We'll actually have a sign on our booth saying, "Hey, we're not here because we're at the 1 week wonder," and that'll probably be about the first hour or so between 8 and 9, and then we'll open the booth up in home builds. And it starts off with a Sonex kit packed like any other kit that you would order and have shipped to your house. And volunteers just start unpacking it and organizing parts and getting to work.
Nice. So you're actually going to have a crate there and unpack it as if you were the customer receiving that great big Christmas present.
Yeah, that is the brainchild of Charlie Becker at EAA. That's the way that the last 2 1 week wonders have been done. And the idea is to see the kit as you would receive it.
Okay. And how would you progress through this? I mean, a customer may start off differently, like through a tail or this, that, and progress through because of storage reasons, being that this is so many people involved and you've got a timeline. how many tables you're gonna have working on, and what does a first day look like as far as assembly?
Yeah, so the first day is probably going to be one of the most hectic the first couple of days because of the number of separate work tables and separate activities going on before we start putting sub-assemblies into larger assemblies. And so it's just like if you were building it, except you would pick something and start with it. We're going to pick everything and start with everything. So the major things that you would see is mostly fuselage sidewalls will be going on at the very beginning. And on our airplanes, we just build those on a flat table. So there'll be 4 separate tables for forward and aft fuselage sidewalls coming together. You'll see spars, wing spars getting prepped and ribs being installed on the spars all on the first day. We'll also see the tail kit coming together, and that's actually going to be mostly with young folks that'll be building the tail. So we'll be getting youth involved, and we'll have a couple of our lead volunteers guiding them through that and assisting them with that as well.
So the first day or two is going to be a lot of big things happening fast, I assume, right? And I can assume you're going to focus a little bit more on the fuselage because everything goes into the fuselage, right? And once that gets done, the airframe wise, then you start throwing other things into it.
Yeah, I mean, everything is going to be happening, at the same time. So there'll be a team working the fuselage, and there'll also be a team working wings at the same time. And then, of course, the big feature of One Week Wonder is that the general public on the other side of the ropes, if you will, where the volunteers building are going to be pulling the majority of the rivets in the exterior skins of the airplane. So we'll be getting everything clecoed together. We'll be riveting a few of the critical, probably all the flush rivets in the leading edge of the wing, for example, will do, and marking out probably with painter's tape, what shouldn't be riveted. And then the other set of volunteers that we call ambassadors, the structures will be put in racks, particularly the wings, and the ambassadors will usher people through. Let them pull a practice rivet or two and some rivet boards that we have with obviously they're blind rivets, pop rivets, and they'll be using a pneumatic pop rivet gun. They'll be showing you how to do it and then bringing you over and letting you put your rivet in the wing or the tail or the fuselage, and you get to sign the spot right next to the rivet, and they take your picture, which they'll email to you. And then, of course, after the airplane is built, it'll eventually be painted, but before that, all the signatures will be captured. There's a registry, of course, that they do as well in case they can't read your signature, and all of the signatures end up as graphics on the finished painted airplane, months later after the One Week Wonder finally gets a paint job.
Nice. So I've been calling these people like project managers, but the buzzword's going to be build ambassadors, huh?
Yeah, so the folks working with the general public, one, just answering questions about home building, and encouraging people that you can do it if you're interested, and then helping with popping your rivet. Those are what EAA calls the ambassadors.
Okay.
Building ambassadors or One Week Wonder ambassadors. And then we have the section of volunteers that we're more directly involved with, and those are the folks actually building the airplane in the tent. And so in that group we have approximately 10 or 11 what we call lead volunteers. Those are the experienced builders that we've identified and actually invited beforehand to lead, and they'll be there, of course, most of the week. And then we have general volunteers, and those are people with a little less experience or maybe a little less availability throughout the week, who will be building as well. So we've got, I believe we're in the low 60s in terms of total number of build volunteers, not counting ambassadors. And of course, that's some repeat people in terms of people coming back every day. Some people can only do maybe 1 or 2 shifts throughout the week. They're split into morning and afternoon shifts. Obviously, we try to weight that more towards the beginning of the week, when there's more small parts, more things that can be done by more people. And then later in the week, as these major assemblies start coming together, you just can't fit as many bodies around the airplane.
As I say, that's a lot of ants in one spot.
Yep, the tasks get really focused, and that's where we rely on our lead volunteers, and particularly the people with avionics installation experience, and our folks with Rotax experience for doing the engine installation, and then of course our staff, our production manager Chris Nash will be there, along with Tony Jones, our lead assembly mechanic lead, and a couple of our other shop employees. And they're not there to build. Charlie doesn't want them building, but they're there to advise and give tech support. And they will be doing a couple of the really critical things on the airplane that we don't want to have to deal with not being done correctly.
Sure,
obviously,
sure.
Such a time project.
So would it be safe to say that if you're obviously traveling to Oshkosh for the event and you wanted to see like airframe specific assembly, you probably want to catch you guys like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then after that, most of those structures will be assembled by then.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And there's a big board on the wall in the back of the tent that, at a basic level lays out the milestones of the build, and they have little check mark stickers of be doing their best to kind of make a big deal every time a milestone is reached, and put the sticker on the item. There's things like the first radio call. Charlie will do a test radio call. They make a big deal out of that. All
Nice.
those kinds of milestones as we go.
Okay, well, I'll try to share that schedule so people that are traveling can't be there the entire week can pop in for a very specific part of the build to see how that happens. I'm very interested. I'll be there all week, by the way, unless something, mysteriously happens that keeps me from being there. I plan on being there the entire week. So I'm really curious to see how everything goes together on the metal side of things. And then at the very end, how everything's tied together with the engine and your wiring and avionics and stuff. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, we've got Michigan Avionics donating the panel, and they're going to have a pre-wired setup because that is a tremendous amount of work. We just did it with Chris's airplane. When you're doing it individual wire by wire, they're going to have harness bundles and cables that from forward to the firewall and in the cockpit that just connect right to each other, and everything. We're going to get that refined to the greatest degree, and that's what Midwest Panel Builders is doing for us. And I can give you a little preview of the firewall forward.
And that'd be great.
I think is the first factory installation of a Rotax that we've ever done. We of course primarily focus on the AeroV engines, which is our own product that John Monette has been developing for well over 40 years, and we have great products like the AeroV and the turbocharged AeroV. But we also make motor mounts for other choices. Jabiru 3300 being the most popular through the years, second in popularity to the AeroV engines. And then since the B models came out, we started doing motor mounts for UL Power engines, as well as the 912 series Rotaxes. And we've had a lot of customers through the years, especially in places like Europe and South America, building their own engine mounts and doing the installations in the A model Sonexes. And then so with the B models, we decided we wanted to offer a mount. Well, now through the 1 Week Wonder project and Rotax's sponsorship of the engine, and the AA really kind of wanting us to go in that direction, we took the opportunity to develop a little bit more advanced development. In other words, the rest of the installation. So after the show this fall, we'll actually be having a product coming out of this in terms of specific parts, other than the motor mounts that we already provide, and some installation guidance in terms of manual, similar to the manuals that we have now for AeroV and Jabiru. Well,
that's amazing news. Is this going to be specific to the 912 ULS at the moment, or are you going to make amends for other like a 914 or 915, or what fits your platform?
Right now our motor mounts are bed mounts, and so they can't accommodate the turbocharged Rotaxes. And 914, 915, you're getting really almost overpowered for the Sonex. So it'll be 912 series only at this point. To start with, it'll focus mostly on the IS because that's what we're doing the installation on. There'll be some variances that we'll work through for the people with the carbureted engines, but by and large, a lot of the parts will still work. And again, focusing primarily on the B model aircraft, which is of course are the current kits that we sell and what we're doing this installation on. Some of the stuff, again, will be applicable to the A model, what we call the legacy aircraft. And we do have the motor mounts for those already. So over time, I'm sure things will get refined towards the carbureted engines and maybe some more parts specific to the legacy models. But our focus right now is the IS on the B model.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So I'll just give you a
got in the shop
preview so that you can.
We are partnering with great companies like Dynon Avionics at Dynon.com, Airtech Coatings at AirtechCoatings.com, AviNation Youth Magazine at AviNationUSA.com, the Aviators Clinic at AviatorsClinic.com. Take a moment to go visit their websites at the links found below in the description of this video. And visit our website at experimentalaircraftchannel.com for events, our video library arranged in easy-to-find playlists on specific topics, affiliate products, aviation merchandise, and so much more.
That you can, have a big headline splash for this video and have it go viral. So here's the installation on Chris's airplane, our shop production manager.
Nice.
And we did our best to keep it clean and streamlined. I think probably the most impressive view of the installation is from the side. We did not significantly, really at all, modify the cowling, and that was the goal. So we have our own radiator system. Now we're not using Rotax radiators, and that's, one, in the interest of cost. We're about providing good solutions for people on a little bit more of a budget and, trying to make this somewhat realistic for people to afford. Although this is definitely a more expensive engine installation option, we wanted to go with these radiators, and we've got dual radiators. Now, one of these radiators is similar in size to the fin area needed if you were only running one radiator. And so in talking to Rotax, especially with a tighter cowling installation and the IS generating a little bit more heat with not having fuel in the intake, we wanted to make sure we had really good cooling, especially on the ground and taxiing, which tends to be probably the most challenging cooling situation for the IS in particular. And we stuck with the Sonex side cowling exits. So we should have a lot of draw on the cowling. We do have a lot of draw on the cowling, and we'll have really, really good cooling. And we're not creating cooling drag by having a big flat plate radiator, stuck out in the front of the cowling, and that's integral to the design.
So does that mean the bottom of your cowling basically seals up and butts to the bottom of your fuselage and just the exits out the sides only?
Yeah, so it's just the side exits with a small exit for the exhaust, which I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
But I'll just show you the cowling real quick.
But just to clarify what you said, in reality, you could run on one radiator. It's enough volume, but for ground handling purposes, you're putting two on there, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to be really conservative because Rotax has told us that the engine's thermostat will prevent it from overcooling and controlling the water through the engine. So we should be in really good shape. So there you can see the right-hand side radiator exit. We have a small NACA inlet for intake air for the gear legs here. So again, just really wanting to keep it tight and streamlined and retain that legendary performance that we're known for with this airplane, with this engine installation. Of course, the Rotax doesn't need any baffles in the installation, so that saves a little bit of time. This has taken us a tremendous amount of time to develop this installation, but when we're done and we have factory parts, it should be very much a plug and play type of installation. The other thing you'll notice here is a prop hub extension, and that's something that we've needed, that we've identified long ago is needed for the installation to fit inside of our cowling. This is our own prop hub extension. that we'll be selling. It is relatively short, but it's still a spool type. So it's probably one of the shortest spool type prop extensions you're going to be able to buy. And a couple of reasons for that. One is that we want to be able to use our spinner and crutch plate.
Yeah.
Which is really important to the form factor and streamline of the cowl. With the other short, like Saber extensions, they have threaded inserts, and you have to safety wire the bolts at the heads. So the only thing you can really do with those is like a skull cap type of a spinner.
Sure.
The other purpose here is to create a little more clearance for the cowling. Rotax's 912s do shake a bit, particularly on shutdown, and we don't want the prop hub and extension to contact the cowling and start eroding the cowling. So we create a little bit more clearance there for the cowling using the spool type, although we do have the bolts in there, but that's just giving us the most clearance that we can have. Another thing that's really going to help with, really helps with the not having as much shaking is having a lightweight prop. So we use the Sensenich fixed pitch wood core composite coated prop. And this is a prop that Sonex customers have been using with 912s, 100 horse 912s for a while now. And Sensenich has gotten good reports from it. It is a pretty wicked prop in terms of pitch and diameter. Of course, we are a bit diameter limited because we sit close to the ground. And so there's a lot of pitch in this prop.
What size prop is this?
So this is, I'm just going to read the serial number here, the info, because I don't remember. Oh yeah, here we go. It's a 60 by 82.
Oh, wow. Okay.
82 inch pitch.
And what would you typically run on your Aero V as far as a length?
54 by 44.
Okay. So it's significantly, I mean,
the turbo is a little bit more pitched than that, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is more than Jabber 3300 prop or anything. So it's been working for our customers.
It looks like it'd be a very nice, clean installation. Very nice. Well, it's very exciting to see different options coming available for that installation and for your aircraft. And I know there's a lot of different camps, if you will, right? I've done Engine Week, and I'll probably do Engine Week again this year. I skipped last year, but I've come to find out that engines are more or less like a sports team or even a religion. Once people sign into one camp or another, that is the only one they're in, pretty much, right? So you're gonna win a lot of hearts by having options.
We're no different. I mean, honestly, any day of the week, give me a direct drive air cooled engine, give me an Aero V turbo or something like that. But there's a lot of people. This engine has a big following, and people want it, and I don't want them to not buy a Sonex because it's not an engine that we support. And so we're taking the opportunity to get it developed.
Well, I think it's a good step, Mr. New Owner of Sonex Aircraft. Well, very excited to learn about all this and to see you in person here in just a few more weeks. Appreciate you taking the time to kind of walk us through what you've done there in the shop. And it's a good lead on to what we're going to see. It's basically be the same exact installation in the 1 week wonder that you see there, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Some of the parts will be a little nicer looking because they won't be handmade.
Okay.
But we actually factory made, parts and cut parts on our router that on this airplane particularly are just cut out by hand. And that's how prototyping works. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, looking forward to seeing you all out at Oshkosh 2022. Got lots of things to see, lots of things to learn. And hopefully by the end of the week, if you haven't already started a project, you'll figure out something that you want to build and stop by the Sonex booth and get a chance to actually build something firsthand. So Mark, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day and walking us through your shop and telling us all about what to expect from you there at Oshkosh.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Appreciate the coverage as always. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.